The day Mason fired me from Sterling Tech, he announced his engagement to Sophia in front of the entire company. My career and my love life both collapsed in a single afternoon, so I could only drive home in tears to claim the trillion-dollar empire waiting in my name. Yet the moment I stepped through my own front door, I found Sophia throwing herself a birthday bash in my living room. Sophia's face twisted into a sneer as she looked me up and down. "Chloe, I never sent you an invite. What kind of shameless stunt is this, slinking into my house unannounced?" Mason's voice cracked like a whip. "We're done. Stop following me around and get lost." I didn't want to look at these two idiots either, but this was literally my house. The people who needed to get lost were clearly them. When Mason fired me in front of everyone and handed my coup title to Sophia, my mind went blank. I glared at him, fury boiling over. "Why am I being fired?" He slammed his pen onto the desk. "You still have the nerve to ask? Did you already forget what you pulled yesterday?" I blinked, stunned. "All I did was question Sophia a little, and you're kicking me out and giving her my job?" Yesterday she'd posted on Instagram, flashing the outrageously expensive birthday haul her parents had supposedly bought her. The caption gushed, *25 tomorrow, thanks mom, dad for the early birthday haul. Love you forever, *. The carousel of photos was stacked with one-of-a-kind high jewelry pieces and selfies with limited-run supercars. Staff had flooded the comments with heart emojis and congratulations, but something felt off. Every bracelet, every hood ornament looked exactly like the heirlooms mom had presented to me at my own coming-of-age gala. So I'd commented, *sure those came from your mom? Hardly anyone stateside owns those one-of-a-kind pieces or those cars, *. Sophia deleted the entire post within minutes, as guilty as a kid with her hand in the cookie jar. Moments later Mason rang, roaring so loud the speaker rattled. "Chloe, what the hell are you doing trolling Sophia on Instagram? Everyone knows she's an heiress. Your snide little comment could bring her real trouble. If she storms out of Sterling Tech because of you, I swear I'll make you pay." He hung up before I could answer. I'd barely stepped into the office this morning when HR handed me the termination letter. I fixed my eyes on Mason. "You're throwing me out over something this petty? Mason, have you forgotten who funded this company back when it was just 2 laptops in your garage?" He cut me off, pounding the table so hard coffee sloshed from his mug. "Spare me the hysterics, Chloe. I took pity on you back then and let you tag along. Made you coup out of charity. Everything you have, everything, you owe to me. Without my generosity you'd still be answering someone else's phone." I almost laughed in his face. Without my seed money he wouldn't have had rent for that garage. Without my family's contacts we'd never have closed those first multi-million-dollar deals. Now, for Sophia's sake, he erased my years of sacrifice and booted me like last week's trash. I must have been blind to ever fall for this jerk. Our shouting match drew every employee on the floor, sideways glances and hushed whispers trailed me like static. Just then Sophia swanned in, all teeth and lashes. She beamed at the crowd. "It's my 25th birthday tonight. Party at my place, everyone's invited." Staff chorused compliments, desperate to stay on her good side. Mason slipped an arm around her waist and lifted his voice. "And while we're celebrating, I've got news, we're getting engaged next month." "Drinks are on us." Gasps rippled through the office. Head swiveled toward me, eyes wide, because until 5 minutes ago everyone thought Mason was still my boyfriend. Humiliation scalded my cheeks, my molars ground so hard they rang. Before I could speak, Sophia pretended to notice me for the first time. "Oh, Chloe, didn't you already get fired? Why are you loitering like a bad smell?" Mason flicked his wrist as if shooing a fly. "Take the 6-figure severance and disappear. I never want to see you again." Sophia's smile turned razor sharp. "Thanks to your screw-up the company faced a multi-million-dollar loss. I personally salvaged the deal. Mason's generous enough not to sue you, so quit while you're ahead and crawl away." They were rewriting history right in front of me. Everyone on the floor knew the blown contract had been Sophia's fault, not mine. Right then, Sophia and Mason slammed the whole scandal on me, yet no one spoke up in my defense. The main reason was the lavish heiress persona Sophia had been selling was already rock solid in everyone's mind, plus Mason had just announced she was replacing me as coup and that the two of them would be engaged next month. At a moment like this, naturally no one in the company wanted to cross her. That instant, my heart turned to ice. I said nothing more, spun around, and walked out of Sterling Tech. Sophia's taunting, triumphant voice chased me down the hall. "Chloe, don't forget to collect your personal things from Mason's apartment. I'm moving in with him tomorrow, and I don't want a single trace of you left." Understood? I didn't look back. When I stepped outside, my eyes stung, but I didn't cry. I wasn't heartbroken, just furious. Mason and I had been together over 3 years. At the start I'd poured in money and sweat to help him launch the company, and back then he was tender and attentive. But the moment Sophia joined a few months ago, everything changed. She kept treating staff to 5-star bistros and rooftop mixology lounges, polishing her image as an heiress slumming it for fun, which made them all believe she was a billionaire's daughter who'd simply picked Sterling Tech for the experience. From that point on, Mason started staying out all night. I sensed something shady between them and confronted him. He always snapped, "Chloe, can you quit the jealousy? Sophia's new, so what if the boss shows a little concern for a new employee? Plus, her family's loaded. Our growth has hit a ceiling, and we need major cash to scale. If her folks invest, we're golden. Stop imagining filth where there isn't any." There's nothing sleazy between Sophia and me. I swallowed his lies whole. Turns out those two liars had been scheming together, and today they served me a spectacular public surprise. Years ago I'd stormed out of the lakefront mansion vowing to Mom that I'd make it on my own, without a dime from them. Now I see how naive I was. With both my career and my love life in tatters, all I could do was wipe my tears and head home to inherit a trillion-dollar dynasty. I went back to Mason's apartment, swept up every last item that was mine, and dumped the lot into the complex trash cans. From this day on, Mason meant nothing to me. I rang Mom overseas and sobbed. She hit the roof, said she was catching the next flight back and would personally make Mason and Sophia regret ever being born. After a good long cry, I felt lighter. But the moment I stepped through the gates of the place I hadn't seen in 3 years, my mood tanked again. Because a dog bit me. The instant I entered the courtyard, a teacup poodle shot out, yapping like crazy. When had we even gotten a dog? Mom knew I'd been bitten as a kid and was terrified of canines. Why keep one at home? Startled, I instinctively kicked out. The nasty little thing sank its teeth into my calf. I yelped, then booted the fluff ball across the grass. It wailed, blood trickled down my leg. Just then a crowd filed out of the mansion. Both sides froze, me and them. Every face belonged to Sterling Tech staff. What were they doing in my house? Before I could ask, Sophia rushed over, cradling the whimpering poodle, and glared. "Chloe, who let you into my house? You weren't invited to my birthday bash." "Sneaking in, what do you want?" Her furious accusation floored me. Since when was this her home? Sure, I'd been gone 3+ years, but I wasn't about to forget my own address. Before I could answer, Mason barked, "Chloe, you break in and attack Sophia's pet. Have you lost it? I get that you can't get over me, but I'm done. We're over. Keep stalking me and I'll call the officers. Now get lost." I shook with rage. "This is my house," I shouted. "The ones who need to scram are you." Mason snickered, sneering. "Chloe, did getting dumped fry your brain? This is the Sterling estate. When did it become yours? You grew up in an orphanage, no parents, no family. Since when does the Sterling bloodline include you?" Sophia's lip curled. "Chloe, if you're jealous of my pedigree, at least invent a smarter lie. Beat it before I really dial 911. The surrounding employees chimed in Sterling Mansion, and Chloe claims it's hers, shameless. That fib couldn't fool a toddler. Deserved the dog bite, trespassing and lying? I'd have had her arrested already. Has Chloe actually snapped? Like, completely lost it? No one believed this was my house. Furious and frantic, I yanked out my phone and snarled at Mason and Sophia, "Even if you won't call the cops, I will. When the officers get here, we'll see who's lying." Before the words left my mouth, Sophia lunged, ripped the phone from my hand, and hurled it into the koi pond in the courtyard. While I was still frozen, she whipped her arm back and smashed her palm across my face. "Chloe, are you done making a scene? You break into my home, attack my teacup poodle, and when I let it slide you just keep pushing. Ungrateful bitch, did you think I was all bark and no bite?" She finished with a savage kick to my stomach. I stumbled backward and crashed to the ground, doubling over in pain. Sophia raised her foot again, but Mason caught her arm. "Sophia, that's enough." She cut him off with a murderous glare. "She hurt my dog. I'm not letting that go." "Mason, you're not still sweet on her, are you?" Mason's face drained of color. "Sophia, we're over. We're getting engaged next month. You're the only one I want." Sophia gave a cold laugh and pointed at me. "If you love me, prove it." Mason drew a sharp breath, shot me a vicious look, and slammed his foot into my ribs. While he delivered the kicks, Sophia turned to the gathered staff and said calmly, "Chloe trespassed, went psycho, and we subdued her. You all saw it. When the police arrive, we're the ones in the right. Don't just stand there, help us toss her into the pond so she can cool off." The employees exchanged glances, then gritted their teeth and dragged me to the edge, flinging me into the koi pond. The pond wasn't huge or deep, but the bottom was slick with algae. I slipped, fell twice, swallowed mouthfuls of rank water. Sophia and her crew stood on the rim, laughing at my soaked, shivering mess. I tried to climb out, but Sophia ordered everyone to circle the pond and block every handhold. In the chaos, I spotted my phone gleaming beneath the surface. I grabbed it and dialed 911. They'd been taunting me for 10 minutes, threatening to leave me in the pond overnight, when a middle-aged woman stepped into the courtyard. She took in the scene and paled. "What on earth are you doing?" I didn't recognize her, but Mason and the others clearly did. He greeted her cautiously. "Dorothy, what brings you here?" The staff murmured respectful hellos, and from their words I learned Dorothy was our new housekeeper. I'd been away 3 years, and with Mom constantly overseas, Eleanor must have hired Dorothy in my absence. Sophia smiled sweetly. "This lunatic broke in and attacked my dog. We were just giving her a tiny lesson." Dorothy looked alarmed. "Get her out of there, now. Those koi are priceless. If anything happens to them, Mr. and Sterling will be furious." Sophia's smile faltered. She snapped at Mason to haul me out. Dorothy surveyed the ruined lilies and floating fish food, then scowled at Sophia. Finally she barked at me, "This is the Sterling estate. You come here to cause trouble? Are you suicidal? Get lost." Sophia smirked and ordered Mason to throw me off the property. Just then sirens wailed up the drive. 2 officers strode into the courtyard. The lead one eyed the chaos and frowned. "Who placed the call?" Before anyone could answer, I lifted my dripping phone and rasped, "I did. These people broke into my house, assaulted me, and threw me in the pond." Sophia cut me off with another slap. "Bitch, still trying to smear us?" "Officer, she trespassed and went berserk. We defended ourselves." Mason and the staff jumped in, piling on lies. Dorothy added indignantly, "Several fish are dead, worth a fortune. You have to make her pay." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Name?" I steadied my breath. "Chloe. Here's my ID. This is my home." Sophia laughed. "Chloe, you really are delusional." Mason and the others stared at me like I was an escapee from psych ward, but Dorothy's face drained of color. She stared, trembling. You said Chloe?" She had definitely heard the name before. Her face was paper white, pure panic. I was certain, Sophia's rich girl act had Dorothy's fingerprints all over it. Dorothy's quavering shriek froze everyone. Sophia and the others turned to her, bewildered. Dorothy's whole body shook. She couldn't meet my eyes and frantically signaled Sophia. Sophia, slow to read Dorothy's desperation, opened her mouth just as the officers ran my ID. At the same moment, Sterling's security came pounding up the drive. They took one look at me, soaked, bleeding, bite marks on my leg, and freaked. "Sterling, what happened? Who did this to you? She's still bleeding, hospital, now." The guard's raw concern left Mason gaping. Mason snarled, "She broke in, raving like a lunatic, and you clowns worry about her instead of your owners?" The Sterling tech staffers flanked Sophia, barking at the guards. The guards' glares hardened, Head's voice cracked like a whip. "This is Sterling's house, and you dare blame her? You mangled her and now slander her. Arrest them, officer." Head's words wiped the color from Mason's face. "That's insane," Mason blustered. "This is the Sterling's lakefront mansion. Chloe's an orphan." I cut in, ice cold. "My father is Theodore, my mother is Eleanor. I took Mom's surname at birth. None of you are walking away tonight. Count on it." Panic flickered across their faces. Mason refused to fold. "Bull. If you were a Sterling, why didn't you mention it while we were living in that basement studio? You're fabricating everything." He swung to Sophia. "Tell them, Sophia. Tell the cops Chloe and these rent-a-cops are lying. You're the sole Sterling heiress, right?" Sophia's face had blanched, her wild eyes flicked to Dorothy. Dorothy squeezed Sophia's hand and, voice cracking, told the officer, "This psycho's raving, drag her to the precinct." Sophia chimed in, shrill. "The Sterlings have only one daughter, me. Mom never mentioned a bastard. I'll get Mom here right now to expose this fraud." She yanked Dorothy toward the gate. Only an idiot would miss their guilt. Then Mom stepped into the doorway, blocking them. Eleanor's stare sliced through Sophia. "Funny, I don't recall giving birth to you. I have one daughter, Chloe. Who exactly are you, parading as my child?" Theodore glared at Dorothy. "Explain." Now. Dorothy's legs buckled, she crumpled to the marble. Sophia looked ready to faint. Between sobs Dorothy spilled everything. "After I ran away, Eleanor was overseas non-stop. She'd hired Dorothy to watch the lakefront mansion and feed the koi. At first Dorothy was dutiful. Months of emptiness tempted her. She started pilfering. Theodore's rare whiskey, aged pure cakes, heirloom jewelry belonging to Eleanor and me, she sold it all. Flush with cash, Sophia began living like royalty. They grew bold enough to move in, camping here for ages. In Dorothy's mind, a vacant mansion might as well serve them. When she finished, Dorothy crawled to Eleanor, wailing, "We're sorry, please, have mercy." She dragged Sophia down, forcing her to kowtow. Under the crowd's disgusted stares, Sophia snapped. "You're the thief, not me. You dressed me up as an heiress, bait for some sugar daddy prince. If not for you I wouldn't be ruined." Dorothy gaped, shattered, bawling. Sophia whirled on me, venomous, but Mason and his crew lunged first. "Bitch, you destroyed us. Impersonate a Sterling? Go to hell. You're the housekeeper's daughter who told us to beat Sterling and toss her in the koi pond. Die for that." Of everyone in that room, Mason burned the hottest. He exploded at Sophia, fists and feet flying, roaring, "You bitch, this is all on you. I must have been blind to waste myself on trash like you." Officers muscled Mason away, but not before Sophia's face was pulped purple. Crazy laughter spilled from her split lip. "Yeah, Mason, I conned you, but you're no prince. Chloe starved with you while you built Sterling Tech, and you dumped her for pocket change. A soulless bastard like you has zero right to call anybody low." His eyes promised murder. If looks were knives she'd already be bleeding out on the marble. "They begged me to forgive." Before I could answer, Dad told the officers. "They broke into our home and assaulted my daughter. We won't settle, make them pay." Mason's crew went sheet white, shooting daggers at Sophia as the cuffs clicked. Half a month in lockup for Mason and his crowd. Dorothy got 10 years for grand larceny. The day they walked out, hashtags were already shredding them. They ducked the storm like turtles. Partners fled, Sterling Tech flatlined. Still, Mason slunk back to our gates, whining, "Chloe, I was hypnotized by that witch Sophia. Give me one more shot, I'll worship you forever." I cut him off. "We're done. You thought a counterfeit heiress would rocket you into the elite. The dream imploded, so you crawl back, shameless. Mason, you never loved me, you loved the safety net when you were broke. The minute something shinier appeared, you traded up. You're unworthy of love. You're not sorry, you're sorry I'm a Sterling. If I weren't, you'd never kneel here. Get out. I don't know you anymore." At my nod, the Sterling security detail hoisted Mason and dragged him out. He thrashed, screaming, "Chloe, one more chance. I swear," then the rest came out raw. "Bitch, if you just told me you were rich I'd never have left." I curse. They gagged him, gave him a parting beating, and hurled him beyond the gates. I spent the next weeks healing at home. When the bite on my leg finally closed, an overnight box arrived, the dead teacup poodle that had bit me. Mom hit the roof, called the officer. Mason had mailed it from a Sterling drop point. Before they could move, a story rocketed to the trending tab. Mason had abducted Sophia, hauled her to the old Sterling Tech roof. She sobbed, knees buckling, but he was past reason. Phone held high, he egayed, "You wrecked me and want mercy? Bitch, you wanted marriage, today was our engagement day. Let's make it official." He clutched her and stepped into empty air. They hit the pavement together, gone. I stared at the headline and exhaled. Their deaths were a ripple, I moved on. I shadowed Mom and Dad, learning the family business. One day, when I'm old, I might sip rare whiskey and replay this whole messy overture. Thanks for listening. Rate the story 1 to 10, smash like, share, and drop your take in the comments. Subscribe for the next saga. See you next time.